Ever since the war between Ukraine and Russia has broke out, the Europe and also the US, in general the West, have revised their relationship with Africa because of how Africans vote in the United Nations on the resolution against Russia. Now, the same Ukraine Russia war and its impacts have made Europe to revise again its approach to Africa because of the energy that they are looking for constantly after the Nord Stream pipeline have been blown up. Only recently, in the third quarter of this year, a number of European leaders have visited or toured in Africa. England, Italy, Czech, and others, and German are a few of them. Now, for today, my focus is the Czech Prime Minister's visit to Africa, particularly to Ethiopia. Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, and stay with me. So we are going to look at what the Czech Prime Minister or Czechia Prime Minister tour in Africa, and particularly the one in Ethiopia. So allow me to share these slides with you. So before we start, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you like it, if you found this information relevant, then give it a like and share the video with others as you stream in. So the Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala, I hope I pronounce it good, has started his tour in Africa, his visit in Africa with a number of business delegations on 3rd of November. And its first stop was Ethiopia. He has met with the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed. So which countries in Africa does this visit include? It's Ethiopia, Kenya on the eastern part of the continent, and then we have Nigeria, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire. These are the countries he will be visiting with his business delegation. Now, on this video, I'm going to look at on the background or the historical background of the Czech Republic and also Ethiopia relation between the two countries, and then also what are the lessons Ethiopia or in general African can withdraw from such visits. So he traveled with the head of the business delegation in Czech, so the business relation with respective countries in the field of so many of, the trades in general in Africa these are the areas like defense, engineering, agriculture, healthcare, industries, and then finance and logistics. These are, the various areas while he travels in these 5 African countries. And in fact, these are, the main things that Czech sells to African countries. And of course, why Africa? Because Africa, just like its for the other West and for the global South, Africa is increasingly significant strategic partner for the Czech Republic and the European Union in the international politics, as you know, security and business. At the same time, the geopolitics is, at its peak. It's that place where the US and Russia, and also the US and China, where the tension is high, not only in one country, but in a number of countries in the continent. Now, This is what the Prime Minister said. It's Prime Minister Petr Fiala of Czech said before his departure. My government transforms the approach to Africa. It's a continent with a huge potential for our companies. We want to help them open. I don't like the word help, really. You are not helping because there's a benefits that you are getting. Anyway, we want to help them open the doors of these markets. And so this journey is accompanied by the Confederation of Industry of the Republic of Czech. Companies have a great reputation abroad, and Africa is an important partner both for Czech and the European Union. Now, during this visit, he said, I'm going to meet leaders of the respective countries and make sure to give my full support to Czech companies. Now, so this is while he was in Ethiopia. So yeah, the focus on Czech and Ethiopia, it will be, with this delegation, exporters are visiting 5 African countries with vast business opportunities in each of them. So the increasing demand for modernization of healthcare facilities, transportation infrastructure, and defense in Ethiopia provides attractive prospects for Czech companies. So this is their focus in Ethiopia. In this country, meaning in Ethiopia, the delegation participants will also have a chance to make a tour in local enterprises and development projects. What do they do in Kenya? It will be on ICT sector. That's where their interest is when it comes to Kenya, amongst other things as well. So in Nigeria, of course, it will be energy. Europe is now energy hungry. So with its petroleum industry, Nigeria definitely plays a key role, and Nigeria has been exporting to European countries. So Czech wants also to strengthen on that, to establish that trade relation. Now, what does Czech do in Ghana? It's a new industrial policy, offer many opportunities for Czech exporters. So this is healthcare, agriculture, defense, and technology industries. Again, defense is there. Now, with Cote d'Ivoire, what are they looking at? It's agriculture, transportation infrastructure, energy. Again, it is there in pharmaceutical sector, so health is there again. So the business forum in Abidjan will mainly focus on collaboration in agriculture and manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry is really good. Now, Ethiopia and Czech relations, historically, these two countries, the mutual economic and trade relation date back, to the World War First, where the First World War, when the tradition has been established by the delivery of the first ammunition. Czech produces ammunition still now. In the 1920s. So from then, Ethiopia was for Czech investors always very interesting and one of the biggest and most sought trade partners in Africa. Now, in present time, unfortunately, those are it's not the same trade that has been continued that continued. However, now because Czech and it used to be Czechoslovakia, now Slovakia has taken its own approach. So they separated in 1992 or 1993. So there is this Slovak company, private company, that privatized the Addis Tire. It used to be a government manufacturing company of tire. Now that has been bought by a Slovakia company. Another trade area that these two are focusing is a mill-to-mill relation, what they call, or the military-to-military cooperation in the area of defense and industry. These are the particularly the L59 and L139 This just is what Ethiopia has been using. I don't know whether they use them in these days. Now, this is what is written by the embassy of Czech in Addis Ababa. The sub-deliveries of technological equipment and spare parts to food processing plants supplied in the past still continue. There are certain possibilities to supply new investment projects, but not so big and not so many as in the past. That means it has reduced, yeah. Even if the Czech Republic is every year invited to participate at the trade exhibition or trade fair in Addis Ababa, the Czech presence is underestimated. He thinks that the ambassador or the embassy that while other producers are taking advantage of it in the automotive industry and agriculture, but and with worth of millions of dollars, but the Czech have not been there. So certainly this visit will revive that and take advantage of those things. He will get the opportunity to show what the Czech businessmen have been missing in Ethiopia. Basically, that's what's going to happen. Now, in terms of export, what does Czech export to Ethiopia, or what does Ethiopia import from Czech? Is instrument and gadgets, jet engines, water tanks and drums, food processing machines, spare parts, chandeliers, packing lines, textile, and laser processing machine. Okay. Steam boilers, steel and iron profiles, and passenger vehicles. So you can see from 2012 to 2023, it's getting less and less. 2014 seems it's under on its peak. Then after that, it's getting less and less. Now, what does Ethiopia export to Czech? These are coffee, pulses, potatoes. I'm happy that we are, exporting some agriculture or some processed thing, at least. No, this must be a mistake. I mean, we cannot export hide and skin cut flowers. Okay, textiles and footwear. Maybe we do, I don't know, but anyway, this is the information that we got from the embassy. So the flowers, okay, the textiles and footwear, this is also shoes. That could be then it's good, when some processed products are exported, it's better for the country instead of exporting raw materials and then buying the finished product. Now, in terms of what Ethiopia can learn from this visit of the Prime Minister of the Czech Prime Minister and the business delegation, and also in general Africa, what can Africa learn? For me, a lesson to take from this is that Africa also should do this more often with the leaders and the business delegation to look for a market outside of Africa. Why not? Even within the continent, this should be something that the African leaders should do to create, that relation, business relation. Even start, actually, it's better even to start it within the continent. And then, if so, why not to also to do it outside the continent with the global West or the global South? But it should be done for the number of unnecessary things the countries, most countries waste their money and the funds that they get. But why not using it for this? Mostly African countries, they end up just selling their raw materials at the end to buy only the finished product in a very expensive price. But why not trying to have those machines for the manufacturing industry and insist that some of the raw materials that they are selling to whether it could be the West or the global South, to pressure and really to make proposal that they should have at least a manufacturing company in their own country, and then where they meet or half processed but not really raw, at least to, if not an end product, but for a half processed product, and then to sell it. So this is something that I don't see in Africa. I don't see Africans do it outside of Africa, even within Africa. Why not Ethiopia and Djibouti? Why not Ethiopia and Kenya? Why not Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire? It just doesn't matter. Why not South Africa and Egypt? But we need to integrate. I mean, all what we need, we have, the demand here, the population, the technology and everything. There are things that one has and the other do not have. The market can be created even within the continent. Then there will be, once we know that we have that potential, then the easier it is actually to materialize the African continental free trade area in the continent. Once our business people know that this is possible, that they have a market within the continent, then they will be the one pushing the governments to actualize the African continental free trade area. So I think this is what inspired me to make a video out of the Prime Minister of Czech visit to Ethiopia and to the continent. And of course, in general, to talk about Africa, I mean, his selection of countries is not a random one. Those countries are, countries who have a good relation with the West. It was Ethiopia, who have been under pressure in the past 2 years or 3 years, when it was in war or at war with in the northern part of the country, but now it's kind of mending its relationship with the West. So it's a very selected choice of these two legs in Africa. Having said that, thank you very much for tuning in, and let us know in the comments section, what do you think is an opportunity for Africa with Czech? What can Czech get out of Africa? What can Africa get out of Czech? And what is the lesson, beside what I said, from this kind of visits that have been made by the Czech Republic Prime Minister and by Europeans? I mean, a number of African countries, European leaders have been in the continent only in the past few months. So let us know in the comments section. Thank you very much again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you find this information relevant, please give it a like and share the video. Let's empower each other with information and knowledge. If you want to support us, you have to share the video. It will help the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you want to support us further, then please go check. I will pin it in the comment section. Also in the description section, we have a PayPal account, and you can donate to the PayPal account. That will really help me, for me to be here more often and bring guests. So thank you very much again. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.